Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We're going to end today with a special selection, which is where one of you tell me exactly what it is I need to check out. Today's selection comes out as from Bratislav. The Smiths, Barbarism Begins at Home. Well, no context to that. Let's just dive right in then. This is the 2011 remaster. Let's see what the Smiths are bringing to the table today. Is that a sharp inhale? We got a 4-bar phrase. Yeah, a little bit of variation on it. Ooh, interesting tonal choices. Love that bass line. The vocals are kind of... No, they are mono, aren't they? Interesting decision there. Interesting, we've gone through 2 sets of, I don't know, there's been a repetition. I'm not sure what the structure is. Nothing has changed yet. I love that division between the faster guitar line and the bass line. Really interesting decision to go with this vocalization. Really interesting sound over there on the right. That there it is. All right, I got a better read on it now. Yeah, finally getting a clear listen to this bass line. Random wood block in the final moments. Okay. Uh, Interesting decision. Oh, this is going to be a real short video, I think. Very few 7-minute songs are going to only take 10 minutes to break down, so this is a rarity. This song is just an A section for 7 minutes. It is comprised of multiple layers. We have our drum beat. We have some auxiliary percussion that is used in several cases, such as the wood block at the end. We have our bass. We have our simple guitar. We have our fancier guitar, the one that plays the 16th notes, the faster runs. It tends to pop up at the end of verses into choruses. I think the part where he talks about a crack on the head or something like that. There's another guitar that comes in around that area, left hand, and is sort of this brighter, faster playing idea that typically goes away after that section's over. We kind of reset the layering. And then there's a series of electronic sounds that are used as atmospheric concepts and our vocals. Oh, yeah, in the sharp inhale. That's an interesting decision to put in the song. I'm really, really looking forward to the lyrics to see if there's anything in there about that. It works 100%, and maybe it has nothing to do with the lyrics. They just got this rhythm going. They're like, something's missing in this beat. And the guy's like, I don't know. And they're like, no, that's it right there. I don't know. It's such a unique choice though. So, anyways, the song is comprised of these layers in different combinations. Our, I think, verse and chorus, as I've called them before, I'm going to continue to call them that. Our verse builds up into the chorus, and then we reset back down to the bass line, guitar, bass, and drums. to start the verse off again. We build up again, and I don't remember if we do it a third time or not, but we repeat this concept of building up these layers, returning down, building up these layers, returning down, until we hit the bridge. And this is the extended vocalization section. And this one introduced a couple of new atmospheric ideas. And when we came out of this, we got to hear the bass in isolation with the simple guitar alongside it, really allowing us to hone in on it. At the end, we really got to hear the drums. All the other layers started to get removed. And in between, there's so many other combinations of layers that just stood out less to me, that I'm not able to specifically pinpoint what was going on in them. And that's what the song is. We have this really cool 4-bar phrase with this catchy dun 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 bum 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 da 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 dun 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 dun. And it's cool because we have that 2 bars, and they're repetition of each other, and then bars 3 and 4, 3 progresses it, 4 adds some tension and resolves it. And that's how the entire thing goes. It's super cyclical, super repetitious. 2 bars of the same thing, a bar to push us forward, and then a bar to introduce some tension and resolve us back so we can start it over. What's interesting to me, the most interesting part, is our faster guitar line in bar 3, and a little bit of bar 4 introduces some really choice notes. They're not dissonant, but they're not consonant either. They add just this unease. The rest of the song is laid back, chilled, groovy. Not even too much drive to it. It's got momentum but not drive, if that makes sense. It's fast moving but laid back. But then we get to that third bar, anytime that left panned guitar is in there, we hit those 3 notes, I think it is. And it's just like, oh, something's just a little off here. It's like Uncanny Valley, where you don't actually know what's off, but you just get this this uneasy feeling in your gut, and you're like, I don't like this situation. Nothing about it seems threatening, but something's off. And that's what I get there. And I don't understand it. Because, like I said, aside from that, this is just a chill, laid back groove, just something you can just put on in the background and just nod your head to and relax to. And then every 3 bars, when that guitar section is thrown in the layering, what's going on there? Oh yeah, those notes that the guitar is playing. Oh, we're chill again. And that's really the breakdown, my whole breakdown of the core song right there. And honestly, if this was a more traditional 3-4 minute track, like it probably could have been from a different band, that would be the end of my analysis. But there's something interesting that happens. Our bridge is like a 2.5 minute vocalization section. Most of the vocalizations are repetitive. A little bit of variation between them, but they're mostly all about the same deal. Kind of start at a lower note and sometimes just hold it, sometimes dance around it, just sometimes just kind of having like this random pitch modulation to it. Not really aiming for pitches, just not wanting to stay on it. And then we rise up at the second half of our 4-bar phrase. We muddle around up here and we end so that we can start back at the bottom again. And every time I thought it was over, it kept going. It tied into this concept of cycles. It's an A section that just never ends, but when we get a little bit of variation on it, that variation doesn't end. I don't know what to read into it. I'll be honest. I probably showed it on my face, but about 3 minutes in, I was done with the song. I was waiting for something new to happen, and it never did, and that kind of made me disappointed. But it's one of those things where I let it roll, right? Music is art. All art is going to do something different. I shouldn't expect it to conform to my expectations. So, not my cup of tea, but I'm sure someone's really going to enjoy it. And it may click with me when we hit the lyrics. I don't know. Wouldn't be the first time, but also there's a lot of times I say that and then the lyrics just have nothing to do thematically with the music. So, or at least with my reading of the music. So that happens just as often. And that takes us to the outro. I think it's interesting that the lyrics proper, we still have vocal work in our bridge, but our lyrics stop after our second, third chorus, whatever we got to. And we entered the vocalization. We never heard lyrics again. We ended on a slight modification to the drumming with an extended woodblock section for the last four sections. To me, it sounds like a song that they didn't know how to finish it, so they just started stripping layers out since it was built up by layers, and the layers could be freely added and subtracted. One of the easiest ways to end that song is to start subtracting things out. Ending with drums, though, exposing a new layer. I'm sure that woodblock has been there the whole time, or maybe even just a more majority of the time, but I didn't hear it until the end, until it was exposed, until everything covering it up was removed. I'm intrigued by it. What does it mean? Why is it included? If it literally is there for 4 seconds, why just the 4 seconds? And if it's not, either A, why is it covered up? Or B, how did I miss it if it isn't covered up? It's not like this is a complex song. I was searching for new things to find often as the foundation was completely repetitive throughout. I'm not going to say that it wasn't there before, but I'd be quite surprised if it was clear as day and I somehow went under my radar. The last thing I want to touch on before we move on to the lyrics is once again a vocal aspect, and it's the barking, the yipping. I don't know what it is. Heavy reverb, heavy delay. Kind of uncomfortable. It pairs really well coming off of that the tension in that the lead guitar line. And I don't know that I have much to add to it. I want to bring it up though, just in case. To me, it's another one of those unique components to this track that completely elude me, but that intrigues me so much. There's so many little decisions in here. The big decisions, the repetition, and the general vibe of the song and feeling an atmosphere, the emotion of it. I get most of that. It's the nuances that really throw me off my track, and I'm like, why'd they do that? And that intrigues me. That makes me want to dig in. I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to take a moment to read these lyrics, and we'll get back and wrap this video up. So it seems to be, at least from my perspective, talking about using violence as a punishment, possibly specifically when speaking about kids and authority figures. This came out in 85. I'm trying to remember when. Actually, I guess another good question would be where are they from? Because I was going to put this in perspective of the US. So it was recorded in England. Oh, they're okay, so they're from the UK, it looks like. They're labeled as British rock. So I don't have the perspective on that. I don't know when violence was still allowed as a punishment in schools. I believe in 85, I think the US would have just got rid of it. I don't know. I'm not going to do a history lesson on myself. Um, well, during the video, anyways. I might go look it up later. But for some reason, I have this idea that, was it corporal punishment? Is that what it's called? Um, was removed from schools not that long prior to me being born, which would be late 80s. I could be wrong in that, but my guess. See, another thing that what is their age? This came out in 85. How old were they? When were they in school? When were they kids? But I think none of that really matters too much because parental discipline still comes into this. And even to this day, I still see parents, spanking their kids and stuff. But anyways, there's only really two ideas here. Unruly boys who will not grow up must be taken in hand. Unruly girls who will not settle down must be taken in hand. And then our second stanza, which is a crack on the head is what you get for not asking. A crack on the head is what you get for asking. And that's it. Those ideas cycle and repeat and repeat and cycle. There is one variation where it says a crack on the head is what you get. Why? Because of who you are. And a crack on the head is what you get. Why? Because of what you are. Because of the things you said and the things you did. Damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation where it almost feels like the violence is the point. It's not about teaching a lesson, it's just about imposing violence, which brings us back. Oh, okay, so this probably is about parental punishment then. Utilizing violence as negative reinforcement. It's called Barbarism Begins at Home. And I wonder if the repetition of the song is just something that the Smiths do, or if it's designed to speak on the cycles of violence. The only way to break the cycle is to not use violence to punish your children so that they don't learn that violence is the way to enact their own way, their own will. You have to stop it at home, which leads into the barbarism aspect, right? The barbarians solved everything with violence. And this is a cycle that continues on. It's generational trauma. I wonder if that's the purpose of the cyclicality of it. I had mentioned that there is a yelping, and I wonder if that was supposed to be. Well, I said a barking, but I think a yelp kind of works as well. I wonder if that's supposed to be some sort of bringing in the picture of a child being hit, right? Even the sharp inhale could be what a child does right before getting spanked or getting hit, as they flinch, recoiling back, ready for the blow. I don't know if it completely opens my eyes to the bridge. I could kind of draw some parallels if I wanted to, and I don't know, stretch and reach a little bit, but it does seem to me that the beginning of the song, the first 3 minutes or so, lean in really heavily to the themes, where the last half of the track kind of falls into a jam band approach. I find it more difficult to tie the themes together there, but also the extension of the song allows the theme of repetition and cycles to get drilled home even further, while still moving into a jammier section of just maybe improvised solos and stuff, just for musicality's sake, not thematic one. Interesting track. Those are my thoughts on the Smiths' Barbarism Begins at Home. What did you think? Do you enjoy it or not? Anything you'd like to add on to what I said, correct me on, or just let me know your thoughts about the track? Put those ideas down in the comment section. The description box has a link for Linktree. Takes you to this menu right here, has links for everything related to the channel. You can find my music, multiple ways to support the channel, a link to Discord, and so much more. Above that, if you could, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I greatly appreciate all three. Alright, that wraps it up for today. We'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. UTC, as usual. Until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical, of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you choose to watch my videos.